Hello everyone, welcome to StudyIQ IS English channel. My name is Shubham Sagar, and from today onwards we'll be doing Hindu analysis at 10 a.m. daily rather. And why at 10 a.m. daily? Because there is a saying which goes around, and you may have heard about it, that eat the frog in the morning. And for many people, this Hindu analysis or reading Hindu is one of the trickiest thing which they have to do, and many people don't want to do it. So let's not waste any time and let's start the Hindu analysis of today, that is 10th June 2025. Page number 6 of today's Hindu, they had this particular article, the census and the remaking of a people. Awesome article. Why it is awesome and how it is important from UPSC perspective is, in GS1, in GS mains paper 1, you have a topic called population. So this census is important from GS1 population perspective as well. At the same time, you also have in GS2 schemes and government policies. So from that perspective also, this particular article is very important. So like there is something very interesting here, and there is another article which is on page 7, which in a way connects. Good morning. Oh. Good morning, Ankit sir. So in a way, there is another article on page 7 which connects, or there is a question which has been asked by this particular article, and the answer has been given by another article, editorial or opinion, which is on the next page, that is page number 7. So we'll talk about all these things one by one. What this article is talking about, they're talking about two entities. There is one thing which is known as population. There's another thing which is known as people. What is the basic difference between population and people? So population, when you're talking about inhabitants of a particular area. And then what is people? People is a much, it has a bigger connotation when we talk about politically. It means people, or it means, entities of a particular community, political community. So there is a difference between when we are talking about population and people. Census converts population to people. It's so awesome, this article. And this particular whole thing, like the difference between population and people, and you can write in the intro of census, like if they ask you a mains question on census, you can always write this particular thing. What is the basic difference between population and people? And then they have talked about this particular 2027 census, that it will be the first digital census. Then based on the data collected via this particular census, delimitation will be carried out. And here, when we are talking about delimitation, the criteria currently is population. Many people feel like this is a wrong criteria. If population is a criteria for delimitation, it will undermine the interest of South Indian states. Then again, I have just told you, there is another article, Hindu article, on page 7, which is actually answering. If population is not a criteria for delimitation, what should be the criteria for delimitation? So let's talk about all these things one by one. So this article is talking about population versus people, and this is actually very interesting. One of the most interesting part or important part of this particular editorial given in Hindu. Population, a group of inhabitants in a place, as we have discussed. People has a much bigger connotation, as we were discussing. A political community with a shared sense of governance and resource allocation. So census is awesome in a way that it converts population to people. And here they're also talking about, we will take into consideration different castes when we are talking about census 2027, all these things. First census to be, just give me a second. First census to be fully digital. Anything first is very important. And this is the first census which will be going fully digital. As we have discussed earlier also, the other points related to this particular census. Based on the data collected by this particular census, delimitation will be carried out. First census post 2026. You may have read about it. Different amendments were introduced in polity. And the population earlier, like the Lok Sabha seats are currently frozen based on the 1971 population. To encourage population stabilization measures, when you will read Lakshmikant, they use terms like this. 1971 census, we have frozen, and we are, we have the seats in Lok Sabha based on that census to encourage population or population stabilization measures. Now, there are many people who feel like, if we currently include, as we have discussed earlier, population as a criteria for delimitation, because certain states, they have maintained or they have stabilized their population, their total fertility rate is much lesser than 3. Total fertility rate, how many kids a woman is producing in their live birth or in their total life. And there is something called as replacement level fertility also. That is 2.1. So if any country's, any state's total fertility rate is greater than RLF, that is replacement level fertility, then the population of that particular country or state will increase. If the total fertility rate is less than RLF, the population will decrease. These are basic concepts. So we'll go there. Now, let's talk about this article. Article 81 of the Constitution mandates delimitation. This is important from pre-perspective. They can ask you which particular article of the Constitution mandates delimitation. Due to delay in 2021, this whole census, which is going to be carried out in 2027, it was supposed to be carried out in 2021, right? Now, that's what they are saying. Because of this whole delay, just before 2029 election, we may have this particular delimitation. This could lead to a new parliamentary map. Here, they're also talking about the implications of this particular census. 1/3 reservation for women, that will be done. Many people feel like once this whole census is carried out and this whole delimitation happens, then the government can push more and more for simultaneous election. So that is another word which is a keyword here in this article. We'll talk about simultaneous election as well. Now, this is what we were discussing. If population is the only criteria when it comes to delimitation, southern states may feel little bit undermined, and that can increase the so-called north-south divide. So again, we have to talk about it. We'll talk about the solution of this whole thing. What is the solution? If not population, then what? So all castes are to be counted in the census 2027. Again, this is the first since 1931. We are talking about how the census will be the first digital census. The second point was how all castes will be counted in this census 2027. See, we talk about development, we talk about education, we talk about health, but believe it or not, even today, when it comes to polity, when it comes to, casting votes, these like caste, religion, region, they play a major role. So again, likely political impact. So if all castes are counted, then maybe there will be demands from other castes that please increase our 50% reservation quota. So all these things can happen. Greater focus on caste-based policies. So is it good or not? If you have any views about it, you can post it in the comment section. Do you believe that it will promote more segregation of society? Our society will be more divided if we are calculating, taking or counting all caste. And we should move beyond that as a, if we want to become an egalitarian society, or if we want to bridge different kind of narrow, interpretations which are there. Again, you can understand where I'm going with this. Gender representation, 1/3 of seats in parliament to be reserved for women, and that will be done once this census is carried out and the delimitation is also done. Simultaneous election. Now, this whole thing, one nation, one election, there are so many one nation things we talk about. One nation, one election, one nation, one language, one nation, one tax, one nation, one culture. Now, this one nation, one election, again, many people who are watching it right now, who will watch it later on, you're free to, post your views on this simultaneous election. As a UPSC aspirant or as a future civil servant, you should understand the pros and cons of, simultaneous election. What are the benefits of simultaneous election? The benefit is, in India, we have 28 states, 6 union territories. We are always in election mode, and that leads to, because there is MCC which is imposed, Model Code of Conduct. Because of that, what happens? Government cannot carry out their policies, be it central government or state government. There are certain restrictions because of MCC, Model Code of Conduct. And that is not good for, that leads to governance failure, governance paralysis, if you call it that way. So simultaneous election, if you're having elections of all, center and all states and some UTs at the same time, it will ensure that this particular policy paralysis, which happens time and again because of MCC, that does not happen. So that is actually good. So there are so many good things which are there. One, this thing is this policy paralysis thing. This is the major, because many people feel like we are always in election mode. So simultaneous election will do away with that phenomenon. One major negative point is, and then you can talk about how, again, the basic premise here is we can focus on policies, reforms, etc. if we are not constantly in election mode. The biggest issue with simultaneous election is, do we have enough resources? Do we have enough machinery? Do we have enough armed personals, everything which we need for carrying out this simultaneous election? The other thing is, does simultaneous election undermine federal structure? What will happen if a state government fails or loses majority? Then if let's say they lose its majority after 2.5 years, so will they be elected for the remaining 2.5 years? What will happen in that scenario? We are saying that state election will happen at the same time when central election is happening. So again, are you undermining the federal structure of our country? That is one question. The other question is, there has been a tendency which has been seen. What is the tendency? That when state elections are happening, people are voting for local issues. When central election or election at Lok Sabha is going on, people are voting for national issues. But let's say you are conducting both the election at the same time, more often than not, people vote for national issues over local issues. So state parties, regional parties may get undermined when you are having simultaneous elections. Hope you are understanding. The basic negative point which is talked about simultaneous election is when simultaneous election happens, or for center and state, national policies, national grievances, they take precedence over state or local grievances. And if that happens constantly, then regional parties will go into the back burner. So hope you understood it. Population and delimitation, as we have discussed, should population be the criteria for the future or the upcoming delimitation? If not population, then what? And then what scenario will be answered by the next editorial which we'll be reading. And this is also one particular art which you have to develop sooner rather than later. What art I'm talking about? Yesterday I made a video at 10 p.m. where we talked about the smartest way of reading Hindu. So here also in Hindu, even when we are reading editorials or opinions, some editorials and opinions are interconnected. I will show you. I will just show you that. So group identities, again, they're saying the same thing, that even today we talk about development, we talk about this and that, fourth industrial revolution, etc., etc. But even today our polity is more or less determined by these three things. CRR, caste reserve ratio. No, CRR, caste, religion and region. So yeah. Now, this is what I'm talking about. This page 7 editorial, delimiting by electors rather than population, offers a fairer approach. These two articles, like this is smart study. So this is what we are talking about. Page 7, this editorial which is there on Hindu, and this one we have just discussed. Page 6, the census and the remaking of a people. And the people who are watching this video, if you have any particular doubt, if you want to ask anything, feel free to post it in the comment section. So page 6, this was the editorial, the census and the remaking of a people. And this is page 7 editorial. That is, just give me a second. Page 7. Both these articles have to be read at the same time. You cannot read them at different occasions. They are interconnected. In page 6 editorial, we had seen how author is talking about population as a criteria is not good for the future delimitation. And here in page 7, we are getting the solution. If not population, then what? The answer is electors. Electors means people who are eligible to vote. Let's try to understand this article. Then we will go into the intricacies of it. So what the author Anish Gupta is talking about in this editorial is population. Population includes everyone, right? Even a 2-year kid is included in the population. But does he vote? 2-year kid, they don't vote, right? So why are we including the whole population? Just include the electors, bro. The people who are eligible to vote. Just include those electors, and based on the population of electors, give or do the delimitation thing. Even then, they have given a data. I will show you the data, how things will change, how seats will change of different states based on this phenomena, where we are not considering population, but we are considering electors. But what Anish is saying is, or Anish sir is saying is, that the author of the article is saying is that like in this scenario, maybe the southern state will not be undermined that much if we unlike the scenario which was happening in the case of population. So elector is a good criteria rather than population. This is what this article is all about. Rest, they have talked about all the facts and figures. You don't have to go there, but this particular article has given you a new perspective. More or less, we people are confined when we are talking about criteria. We are confined to this population criteria. I even made one video, I don't remember which one. There we have talked about how delimitation will be carried out. One thing is based on population, then southern states will be undermined. Second scenario, and based on population, and seats will be increased to 810 around from 543. Now, the second criteria is we freeze the seats to 543 only. We don't increase the seat, but based on the change in population. If the percentage of UP's population has increased compared to the total population, based like, and again compared to 1971 population, then the number of seats of UP will be increased. Let's say it will be increased to 80 to 100. And if the percentage of population of a particular state has decreased compared to 1971 population, then their seats will be decreased. Total number of seats will be same. So these two things we have heard about when it comes to delimitation. Now here you are hearing the third part, that why population. Let's focus on the electoral concept as a whole. So again, not rest everything which is there in this editorial doesn't concern us much, but this is actually a fascinating criteria. So that is what this article is saying. Question whether population is the best criterion, because not every people is or every person is voting when you're taking population. So let's take electoral or electors and the people who will be voting or who are eligible to vote. So electors not equal to population. Not all residents are electors. Many electors, again you can read all these things. I have just given you the basic criteria. Electors better reflect democratic representation. Again, if you have any particular view regarding this, if you feel like yes sir, this is actually a better criteria, elector is a better criteria than population, then you can again post it in the comment section. Also, do you think we should go ahead with the delimitation? And this is the chart which has been given by this author. And Andhra, the current seats they have 25 and the adjusted seat they will be 34 based on the electoral criteria rather than population criteria. Same way they have given, and the percentage increase is happening. Now let's talk about, this is an acronym which you may have heard a lot. BIMARU, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh. Good morning, Sasmita. So any doubts, Sasmita and other people, if you have, and let's keep it interactive so that it does not become a monologue. It remains bi-directional in nature. So there is a mnemonic which you may have heard: BIMARU, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh. So let's see their seat and percentage change in seat based on elector concept. So if we talk about Bihar, we have it, yeah. So Bihar current seat is 40, and based on this elector concept, if we do the delimitation, their seats will increase to 63, 57%. And again, you can see here Bihar and then Uttar Pradesh, 57% increase. Compare it with southern state, Kerala, 15% increase. Karnataka increase is actually good. See, this is what we were talking about. If we are taking elector concept rather than population concept, then in that scenario, some southern states are also getting benefited. Tamil Nadu, how much? 30%, not that much. BIMARU, let's focus on the BIMARU state again. Rajasthan, 76% increase. Too much increase. And we have done Madhya Pradesh. Where is Madhya Pradesh? Madhya Pradesh, 58% increase. Even now, the whole concern, good morning in my life. So even now, the whole concern, grievances of southern states are not addressed. But again, the author is saying this elector concept is better than the population concept when it comes to delimitation. Awesome, sir. Now let's talk about the third article of the day. This article is about how drones are the new face of warfare. So here we are talking about Operation Sindoor, and we are talking about UAV, unmanned aerial vehicle, and how these drones, they have changed the whole way, like the way these wars are fought. It's not like now we have to send our people, beyond the border all the time. These drones will do work for us. So here they are, like again, all these things, how drone is important, how China, supplying drones to Pakistan, or Pakistan taking help of Turkey, not Turkey or Turkey, they call it as Turkey. So those all things are fine, but here there will be certain words which are there in this article, like Nagorno-Karabakh region. When this Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict was going on, over Nagorno-Karabakh region, they also employed some drones. So these regions like Nagorno-Karabakh continuously in news. So keep it in mind, which two countries are fighting over it? Armenia and Azerbaijan. India supports whom? India supports Armenia. Then Pakistan supports whom? Pakistan supports Azerbaijan. Turkey supports whom? Turkey supports Azerbaijan. So there is a nexus there. Turkey, Azerbaijan, Pakistan, and India, Armenia. Armenia, I think India is the largest arms supplier, one of the largest, if not the largest arms supplier to Armenia. So these are some facts which is, coming out of this particular article. So we'll look at this article, but at the same time, do remember these facts which we have just discussed. Nagorno-Karabakh, Armenia, Azerbaijan, India's Operation Sindoor, they are talking about significant shift in using UAVs in combat roles. How? This drones there were suicide drones also, which were used. Suicide drones. And in suicide drones, what happens? So you have this drone that will be going into the other, territory. They will be locating the target. When they find the target, then they will go boom. So those are suicide drones. Like, again, we'll talk about that. So again, it reflects a move towards integrating standoff weapons. You can see here, drones are becoming the weapon of choice for modern militaries. That's what this article is saying. So is this a good news for us? It's a mixed bag for us. Not totally good, not totally bad. We are also using drones, but it's not like we are the only ones who are using drones. Other countries can also use drones. Pakistan is using drones. China is helping them. Turkey is helping Pakistan. Turkey is helping Pakistan. So we need to be on our toes when it comes to developing drones. Suicide drones. Okay. So Ukraine's Operation Spiderweb. Now this is also important from exam perspective. They can ask you, like we have our Operation Sindoor, we are proud of that. So they can ask you Operation Spiderweb is associated with which particular country. So this point is important. You have to keep it in mind. Nagorno-Karabakh. Which two countries are fighting over Nagorno-Karabakh? Very important. And then from mains perspective, like GS paper 2, where India and neighboring alliances, there you have to talk about why our relationship with Turkey is deteriorating. Then this whole Armenia-Azerbaijan thing will come into picture, and you will talk about this India-Armenia on the one side and Pakistan, Azerbaijan and Turkey on the other side. Then there is another dimension to that India-Turkey relationship that involves Cyprus, North Cyprus ruled by Turkey majority people, Turkish majority, South Cyprus basically ruled by Greek majority people. We are supporting South Cyprus. Obviously, Turkey will support North Cyprus. So Cyprus is also an issue, a bone of contention between India and Turkey. So all these things are coming out of this article. Myanmar rebel groups use 3D printed drones. Now 3D printing is also known as additive manufacturing. So they can also give you this. 3D printing is also known as additive manufacturing, true or false. And here, layer by layer, they are creating an entity. So 3D entity, 3D printing, additive manufacturing, they are one and the same. And this is what we were discussing. Nagorno-Karabakh region, Israeli Harop drones. These are suicide drones. Oh my God. Whenever you hear this word, this particular word, suicide drone, you feel like, oh my God. So yes, this is actually, oh my God. We just discussed what happens in these suicide drones. They go to other territory, they locate the actual person or whomsoever they are targeting. Once they find that particular entity, they go boom. So suicide drones, Harop drones. They can ask you even, Harop drones belongs to which particular country? Israel. Was it used in Nagorno-Karabakh? Yes. Okay, sir. India's position and challenges. That's what we're discussing. China has a large and advanced drone fleet. We have it. China also means, they are also having it, and because of that, Pakistan is also getting help from not only China but also Turkey. So these are some facts which we have to keep in mind. Cool, sir. India must learn, and again, you can read all these things. I'm not reading a slide. Domestic preparedness and security. Pakistan used drones. We have counter drone measures and we are using it. But at the same time, we have to be on our vigil, and that's what they are saying. Internal security, it has to be tight when it comes to these suicide drones and all these things. Fine. Recommendations from India. India must mass produce. Now, there are some terms here which we have to keep in mind. Procurement processes. Structural issues in procurement processes must be addressed to incentivize domestic defense production. Now, what is the basic meaning here? Procurement processes when it comes to drones. And again, do remember the keywords associated here. So, when you are making drones, UAV, suicide drones, Israeli Harop drones, whatever, like phonetics, if it is pronounced wrong, pardon me. So procurement means raw materials needed for making drones. So you have to assemble them, you have to, assemble them somewhere, bring it from somewhere else. So this whole thing comes under the procurement process, and it should be smoother. It should not be having too many hierarchies. Cool, sir. So that was article on the drone thing, and the next article which is very important, and this is one of the most interesting article which you will read in Hindu today. Foreign and financial woes. Kerala government and central government, they're having some issues. Why are they having some issues? Something is going on in the background. What is going on in the background? So central government, they have allowed Maharashtra for some foreign funds under FCRA. Now, Kerala government is saying that this is so unfair, because we had some years back when UAE was willing to give us some money because some disasters happened in our state, you told that is not possible. You have limited our borrowing capacity, like how much we can borrow from other entities. Center has limited that particular capacity of Kerala government. You are allowing Maharashtra, you are not allowing us when it comes to foreign funds. Why? Plus our share in 16th Finance Commission, or even if you talk about from 10th to 15th Finance Commission, it has continuously decreased. Why has it decreased? So there are so many grievances which are there, or which has been talked about in this particular article. If you are from Kerala, or even it doesn't matter if you have to be from Kerala, you have to be a Malayali, even if you have any particular knowledge about this issue, do you think center is unfairly targeting, Kerala, or is unfairly helping Maharashtra? This is the whole issue. So Maharashtra Chief Minister's Relief Fund has been permitted to receive foreign contribution from FCRA. See, understand one thing, how this whole thing is important. In GS3, you have something known as money laundering, but this is not exactly related to money laundering. This is also related to internal security. Sometimes when you take fund from foreign state, these foreign state can start having a say in your rule, in your governance. So that is also one consideration which they have to take into picture. But now Kerala's argument is, if you have allowed Maharashtra, why did you stop us during 2018 Kerala floods? And at that time UAE wanted to offer us 700 crore. So many nurses, they go from Kerala to UAE. When you read about something called as Indian diaspora, GS Mains Paper 2. So there you will talk about certain things. So you will read about certain things. Indian diaspora, NRI, PIO, OCIs. So you talk about that the diaspora, Indian diaspora, which is in West Asia, including UAE. Now, this particular diaspora, they give us economic stability. They send us remittances. The Indian diaspora, which is there in USA, Canada, North America, they give us political stability, because US has so much say in the political affairs of the country, like the whole world in general. So Indian diaspora, they play a crucial role in giving us political stability. Indo-US nuclear deal happened. Indian diaspora had a crucial role. Why do you think Israel had so much say in world affairs? Because most of the banks which are run in US, they are run by Israeli people, Jewish people. Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, he's a Jewish. So Israeli people, they have a lot of influence in USA. And that's why they have a lot of say when it comes to political affairs. So this Indian diaspora, which is in America, North America and South America, they're giving us political stability. Then the next point is our diaspora, Indian diaspora, which is in Fiji, Mauritius, Suriname, etc. They're giving us cultural stability. What does it mean? Cultural stability means, like these people who are there in Fiji, Mauritius, etc., Suriname, etc., they have been taken away by Britishers almost 200 years back for plantation agriculture. And the culture which was there in India 200 years back, they have preserved that culture even now in those areas. We have forgotten that 200 years old Indian culture because of westernization and this and that, but they have preserved that culture, and that's how they're giving us cultural stability. What I mean to say here is, you have to, like, here we are not reading Hindu just for the sake of reading Hindu. The purpose is to clear UPSC, and for that you need to know about pestle analysis. Different dimension: political, economic, social, technological, anthropological, legal, even in the case of diaspora. So why 700 crore was offered by UAE? Because Kerala's diaspora has a strong presence in UAE. But at that time, Center denied Kerala. Center was like, no, we will not allow you to take that much money. This is not a small amount. And that's why Kerala is objecting. This is not the only scenario. There are so many things which are going on. What are those so many things? Kerala Finance Minister, you can see here, they are saying that there is a political bias, unequal treatment among states. He implied that Maharashtra was favored because there is a BJP supported government there, blah, blah, blah. You can read this. We are not going into the political arena. We have to understand, is this actually biasness, or do you think there is something else which is going beyond it? If you have some views on it, please post it. So ongoing center state relation tension. Now here, this whole thing, we have talked about diaspora, GS2. This whole thing is also important from GS2 federal structure perspective. Federal structure, distribution of power between center and state. Then there are other concepts which are cooperative federalism, competitive federalism. Again, here Kerala government, you will see they are saying that center is undermining cooperative federalism, when center and state should come together and talk about a common issue and work together, rather than, center undermining states one way or the other. So that is what is being written here. Drastic cuts in central allocation and restriction on its borrowing capacity. This year in 2025, Nirmala Sitharaman ma'am and even Kerala government, some ministers of there, they met, but nothing happened. Nothing has changed much. Okay. So legal and political action, Kerala government has approached Supreme Court over borrowing limit. So there has been a borrowing limit which has been imposed on Kerala government, and they have gone to center. And they are saying that central government is financially choking Kerala. Is it the reality, or do you think too much political hue and cry has been made over it? Union budget disappointment. Now, these are multiple figures. The biggest figure which you will see is the reduction of contribution when it comes to from like 10th Finance Commission to 15th Finance Commission. Why had resources which was supposed to be devolved to Kerala has reduced so much? We'll talk about it. So Kerala's request for 24,000 crore economic package ignored in 24-25. You can see the data here. These data will help you in substantiating your answer. Union Finance Ministry further cut over 3,300 crore from Kerala's borrowing limit. So that's why Kerala government is talking all these things. It's not about this whole, this Maharashtra occurrence that has ignited their anger or something. July 2024, Wayanad landslide, they asked for special aid that was not announced. Trust deficit and federalism concern. Federalism. India is a quasi-federal state, federation with a strong unitary bias. US is truly federal. We are indestructible union of destructible states. So remember these terms. Kerala accuses BJP-led center of undermining cooperative federalism. They can ask you, what is cooperative federalism? We have talked about it. Center and state should come together, work for a common cause. Competitive federalism is when different states are fighting among themselves. Niti Aayog, they publish something known as CWMI. Composite Water Management Index. They publish so many different reports where they rank states. So that is one example of competitive federalism. A March meeting between CM Pinarayi Vijayan sir, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman ma'am, that happened to, remove this so-called borrowing limit on the Kerala government and other issues, but nothing fruitful came out of it. Now, this is the biggest point which we have to discuss. And this is your homework also. You have to read about Finance Commission. If you know which constitutional article deals with Finance Commission, you can talk about it in the comment section and see what has happened. Kerala's share has dropped from 3.88% to 1.92% in Finance Commission, from 10 to 15th. And this is actually a big drop. You may feel like, sir, why this drop has happened? The answer is there are different criterias in Finance Commission. We can have a separate video. We can talk about it later on regarding different criterias. One criteria is population as well. You can see population is creating so much issue on like so many different verticals. We were talking about delimitation, population. Here also we are talking about population. Since population is one criteria here in resource devolution by Finance Commission. So states which has higher population, higher fertility rate, total fertility rate, they are getting more share. Since southern states including Kerala, they have stabilized their population. That's why the share has also dropped, because the population is lesser. And that's why you may have seen in some of the southern states, there are certain leaders who are saying, produce 6 children and do this, we have to increase our population. That's why they're talking about increasing their population. What are the other reasons? Population is a major reason why the share has dropped. But again, many people feel this is not fair. Like states who are controlling or which are controlling their population, they should be, we should not be penalizing them for it. We should be giving them some benefits and all. This is not fair. Again, if you have any opinion on this, please feel free to post it. And there is another criteria also, income distance criteria. If you know about income distance criteria, post it in the comment section. We can have a detailed discussion on Finance Commission later on as well. This article, now let's talk about this article. Empowering women in agriculture for food security. Any people who are watching me right now, do you people have any queries, anything you want to ask, any specific concern, causes? Empowering women in agriculture for food security, page 6. So here, what is important from exam perspective? Certain facts. They can ask or they can give you that UNGA, they have declared 2024 as International Year for Women Farmer. So you will say no, it is 2026 which has been declared as International Year for Women Farmer. Then via this article, you will go to different arenas like SHGs, self-help groups, like pressure groups, like NGOs, and these terms, SHGs, pressure groups, NGOs, they are explicitly mentioned in your GS syllabus. So we should be knowing about these terms. What do SHG mean, or pressure groups, or NGOs, self-help groups? So people of similar background coming together, working for a common cause. So that is SHG, self-help group. Kudumba Shri of Kerala, Lichit Papad. Pressure groups are entities which are exercising pressure on government. Same thing is done by opposition political parties. So what is the difference between pressure groups and political parties? Political parties contest election, pressure group does not contest election. Cool, Kartika. Okay, and again, there are different examples of pressure group. Like there is another an organization which is known as MKSS, Mazdoor Kishan Sakti Sangathan. They played a crucial role in the passage of RTI, Right to Information Act. Many people feel Narmada Bachao Andolan, Medha Patkar, Baba Amte, all these people, Arundhati Roy, Amir Khan was also involved. So that was also one example of a pressure group. Narmada Bachao, Chipko movement, Sundarlal Bahuguna. And again, NGOs, non-governmental organization. Many people have this misconception that NGOs are not for profit. Always. No. NGOs are of two types, for-profit NGOs and not-for-profit NGOs. So do keep it in mind. This is actually important. Now, like you read about Helpage India and all those and you feel like they are not-for-profit NGOs. Your homework is, good morning. Okay, good morning, Patel, and have a wonderful day to you as well. So what we were discussing, I forgot. So the point is, NGOs, they are of two types, for-profit and not-for-profit. Not-for-profit, we hear about them all the time, but there are for-profit NGOs also. This is your homework. Find out some for-profit NGOs. Okay, let's come back to this article. So these terms will come out of this article. We need to know about these terms. We don't need to know everything about this whole article. There are some factual things. Then there are some things important from mains perspective. So here, this is the article, International Year of the Woman Farmer, 2020. Keep it in mind. This year is important. Which particular year is International Year of Woman Farmer? Then the next thing which is important from exam perspective is, who declared 2026 as International Year of Women Farmer? UNGA. We'll talk about different organs of UN, you know, Secretariat, ICZ, International Court of Justice, etc., difference between ICZ, ICC, all these things we'll talk, Trusteeship Council, we'll talk about it later on. Let's focus on the core issue and aims to highlight the critical role of women in agriculture. So this is not only about GS2, NGOs, SHG pressure groups, even in GS3 you have agriculture. In GS1, you have role of women. So this particular issue can be connected to so many different issues. So non-profit NGOs are handled by government. No. This is like Shahida has asked, cry child rights and you. Very good, Shri Purna. So like Shahida has asked, are non-profit NGOs handled by government? So the basic meaning here is NGO, non-governmental organization. They are organization which has not been created by government. So that's why they are known as NGOs. So they are not handled by government, but there are some NGOs which are not for profit. There are some NGOs which are for profit also. But NGOs which are for profit, they don't tell it explicitly that they are for profit. Smile Foundation. Very good, Shri Purna. Awesome, yaar. So this is what I want. I want you people to keep it interactive. So we were discussing something, right? GS2, GS3, agriculture, GS1, role of women. So there are so many things which we have to know about. Cool. So let's focus here, and then there are some other issues also. See, there are some facts and some data which you have to use. When you will talk about, there is a concept which you may have heard about a lot, patriarchy, subordination of women, and this whole data and facts and figures will in a way prove the fact that yes, subordination of women is actually a real concept. And that's why to minimize this concept of subordination of women, this 2026 is celebrated as International Year of Women Farmer, among other factors. Fine. So what is this subordination of women concept? I keep on telling people about it, that there is an author which you will read in history, ancient and early medieval India. Her name is Upinder Singh. She's the daughter of Manmohan Singh, who was the former Prime Minister of India. So Upinder Singh ma'am, in her book Ancient and Early Medieval India, she talked about something related to women, subordination of women. Many people feel when you read ancient India, you'll feel like Vedic period is an egalitarian society, men and women are equal. She says that subordination of women is a known feature of almost all historical societies of the world. The point is degree of subordination of women. Here also these data rather, because data is plural, the singular of data is datum, and then you have data. So, okay, let's focus. So, women produce 60-80% of the food, but how many lands they have? 14% landowners are women. Because they don't have enough land, they don't own enough land, they don't get enough loan, and that is what is being written here. Lack of land ownership affects credit access and technology adoption. So, something has to be, government has to do something about it to increase the land ownership concept. Even in post-independent India, you read about land reform measures, but we never talk it from women's perspective. We talk about consolidation of land holding, we talk about abolition of zamindari system, land to the tiller concept, improving agricultural productivity, but this whole this whole data is giving you another idea that when we talk about land reform measures, let's also talk about increasing the ownership of land and giving more and more lands to women, because that will ensure that they are not economically vulnerable. We talk about equal pay for equal work, this and that. So this thing also has to be taken care of. Microfinance and SHGs exist. We talked about self-help groups. Self-help groups, Kudumba Shri Kerala, Lichat Papad, there is a very famous papad. So these examples you can give. In NGOs, one of the earliest known NGOs which you read about is Servants of India Society. Do you people know who established Servants of India Society? Anyone? Servants of India Society. Chepandis. Chepandis Chepu Telsu Ledu Kadu. That means, tell me. So Servants of India Society was like, here again, as there are different terms, and if I'm not audible, not visible because I jump a lot, so please write it in the comment section. SHGs we talked about, pressure group we talked about, NGOs we are talking about, and Servants of India Society, again Shriparna. Where are you from, Shriparna? So NGOs, Servants of India Society, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, he was the political guru of Gandhiji, and do remember, it's important. Cool. Then some other articles came. There was one article which came on like Ranthambore Tiger Reserve, Gopal Krishna Gokhale. Cool. Ranthambore Tiger Reserve, Ranthambore National Park. Very good, Shahida. So that thing, why is Ranthambore National Park in news? I have already made a video on it, so you can have a look at it. This is another article which was there. Editorials, opinions, they are very important. And then there will be something, see what happens, I will tell you, there is a pattern which is there in Hindu. So they will give you some, like today, there are news related to Kuki and Manipur issue also. So they will be there on the first page, they will be there on the 10th page. And then what happens, once that news becomes very recurring, they will put that particular news on the editorial page. So that's why I keep on telling people that first of all, focus on the editorial opinion and 1 or 2 pages after it. Those contains the most important articles, and the other articles which are there on the other pages, they will come again and again. And there was one more article which was there today, which was about, there is one Indian astronaut who has to go to space, but NASA is deferring it because the weather is not very good. So again, just a one-liner news which is there. Ranthambore, a tiger has killed or mauled, something has happened. So we have made a video on Ranthambore National Park. Now this is a video, very good here. So this is a video related to Election Commission of India. Rahul Gandhi sir has raised troubling questions. See, this is not about Rahul Gandhi sir. This is not about Maharashtra Assembly election. This is about, there is Election Commission of India, constitutional body. You will read it in GS2. Then it's about election. Election in India should not only be fair, it should also be seen as fair. So these are some things which we have to keep in mind. That is actually important. And here they are raising questions related to the transparency of ECI and so many things. And it's not only confined to Congress, even BJP, they have, earlier alleged that EVM is not working fine. And why this particular editorial is important? Because there are some repeated patterns in UPSC. And what are those repeated patterns? UPSC has asked a lot of questions on EVM, electronic voting machine, that whether it can be tempered or not. In European countries, they have banned EVM. So why are they not banning EVM in India? The answer is, in European countries, EVM are connected, like they're connected to Wi-Fi. In India, EVM are standalone. Standalone means they're not connected to Wi-Fi or something. That's why they cannot be tempered away with, according to ECI. So this is one justification given by ECI why they're not banning EVM. Many people feel that Europe, the countries which have banned EVM, they're very developed countries. If they have banned EVM, then we should also ban EVM. So what is your view? Should we ban EVM or not? So this is one point related to EVM. Transparency in, like, the issue related to Election Commission of India. Then there are other issues related to how election commissioners are appointed, why Chief Justice of India is not a part of it. So all these things have been, like, issues have been raised. This article is saying that rather than raising issues like Rahul Gandhi sir has raised here, or like different political parties do, just after the election results are announced, if this is a very serious issue, they should not wait for election result to come. They should consistently and persistently raise this issue, and this is not good. If there is a serious issue, talk about it continuously, not one time and then forget about it, then another result come and then again you talk about it. Doesn't make any sense at all. Okay, sir. So we have talked about a lot of issues today. Based on those issues, there are certain questions in front of you. This is the first question. If you know the answer, post it in the comment section. What is the answer of this particular question? Which of the following best explains the difference between population and people? Population refers to all citizens, while people refer to voters only. Population is a statistical term, while people form a political community. Population includes only rural citizens. People include, it should be include, right? Yeah. Urban ones. Population is a legal term. People is a historical concept. Anyone? Can you tell me what is the answer of this particular question? Shriparna, Shayada, Patel, Mithun Patel, Kartika, Shashmita. Okay, I will give you 20 more seconds. What is the basic difference? This was the first article which we talked about, where we talked about the basic difference between population and people, how census converts in a way population to people, how in 2027 census will be having first digital census, how they will take into criteria or consideration all caste, and this is the first time it is happening after 1931 census. Saida has given the answer, Sriparna has given the answer. Awesome. So you people have given the answer as B. Cool. Next question. Which of the following statement are correct regarding delimitation in India? First, I will tell you the answer. Shayada, Shiparna, don't worry. First of all, let's solve some questions. Let's do some revision. So delimitation. Delimitation was a talk even in the first article which we did today, even in the second article. Population is a statistical term where people form a political community. Awesome. Awesome, Shayada. Now this question related to delimitation. Always conducted every 10 years. The next delimitation will be based on the first census after 2026. It affects the allocation of parliamentary seats among states. Select the correct code. 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only. D, 1, 2 and 3. What is the correct answer? I will move ahead. I will give you 10 or 20 more seconds and then we'll move ahead. I will just give you one hint here, that always be on the lookout for extreme statements. And solving questions, they're very important. When it comes to when it comes to mains, I can give you even mains question also, but that will be too long. The session will become too long. I anyway tell you the mains concept when we are discussing articles, pressure group, NGOs, SHGs, population, different terms, and how they are related to UPSC mains syllabus. So Shriparna has given the answer. Cool, sir. Cool, Shriparna. Cool, ma'am. And cool. So once any person gives the answer, I will move on to the next question. I will tell you the answer of all these questions. Let's first of all solve all of them. So this was the hint I have given you for MCQ 2. MCQ 3. Which of the following statements are correct regarding the International Year of the Woman Farmer declared by UNGA? It is to be observed in the year 2025. The resolution was co-sponsored by more than 100 countries. It aims to promote gender equality and highlight women's contribution to global agriculture. Select the correct answer. 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 1 and 3, 1, 2 and 3. Very good, Kartika. Very good, Shriparna. Now, this question related to International Year of the Woman Farmer. Yes, so you people have given the answer. I will tell you the correct answer. But yes, the approach is good, Shiparna. The approach is correct, Kartika. I will tell you the answer. Answer of this question? "20 more seconds and then..." Can I give a hint? No, I shouldn't be giving a hint for this one. Chepandis. Chepandis means tell me. So Shaida has given the answer. Shipanna has given the answer. Okay. So I will just tell you one thing. Focus on this first statement. Is it correct? Is it wrong? Focus on the numbers also, not only in this like MCQ, even in UPSC, focus on the numbers. Numbers are actually important. Cool. So this head, I will tell you the answer. Don't worry. First of all, let's solve the questions. MCQ 4. Which of the following best describes the principle of cooperative federalism as highlighted in the Indian Constitution? What is cooperative federalism? We have discussed this whole concept when Kerala government, and we have talked about the tussle between Kerala government and central government, cooperative federalism, competitive federalism, the difference between them. Third question, D1 to 3. Cool, cool, Kartika. This is not that tough a question. This is a question which could be done by you. Means it's not that tough. Okay, Sripanna has given the answer. I am moving on. I will tell you the answers. So, cooperative federalism, competitive federalism. MCQ 5. The Nagorno-Karabakh region is disputed between which two countries? Armenia, Azerbaijan, Ukraine, Russia, Georgia and Russia, Iran and Iraq. So what do you think is the answer? Nagorno-Karabakh disputed between. Now again, this question you should be like, I will kill it, and you should kill it. Very good, Sriparna. So Nagorno-Karabakh region, there we have discussed suicide drones were used. What is the basic concept of suicide drone? We have talked about Nagorno-Karabakh, two countries who are involved. India is supporting which country? Turkey, Pakistan, they are supporting which country? This whole thing, how this is, leading to a decline in relationship between India and Turkey. Cyprus issue we have talked about. North Cyprus, South Cyprus, all these things we had a discussion on. Cool. So Sriparna, Shaida, they have given the answer. Cool, sir. Now, I will share the answer of all these questions along with the PDF in this Telegram channel of mine, Fun Study with Shubh. I think within 10-15 minutes of my session is done. Just like once this session is done, I will sit with my laptop, I will share this PDF. So that like what happens, you can rethink. Let's say there are many people who are not given the answer, who are still thinking about it. If I just tell you the answer right now, this is akin to spoon feeding. Think about it 5-10 minutes. Once you have thought about it, go to this Telegram channel, download the PDF, see the answers, and then the whole process is complete. Cool, sir. So let's keep until here only. From tomorrow onwards, the session will become, we'll keep it more interactive. Try to answer Armenian lives in Azerbaijan. Cool. So, try to keep it as interactive as possible. 10 a.m. is the good time. The sooner you complete these newspapers, the better it is. Then you can do other works. So, that is the reason why I'm waking up at 4 a.m. and we are doing this session at 10 a.m. so that you people get benefited by it. Cool. And again, the other thing, if you are preparing for 2026 diligently and you feel like you need certain amount of guidance, this Hindu, all these things are there with you, right? But at the same time, you feel like you need guidance in some other areas, you can join our evening batch that is starting from today, 10th June 2025, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And in the meantime, if you have any queries, you can feel free to post it in the comment section. Anything you want to ask related to UPSC preparation, newspaper reading, anything Sriparna, Kartika, Shaida and other people. So again, you can join this batch and there will be a monthly quiz which will be happening here. If you top that quiz, you will get 11,000 reward. If you clear UPSC pre 2026, that is the next year pre, obviously, so you will get full refund. This is actually a good thing. I keep on telling people about it. I love this feature of StudyIQ. Interview guidance program is included here because this is P2I. One-on-one mentorship. Sometimes we don't want to study at all. Sometimes we feel burnt out. We want to talk to someone. In that scenario, your mentor will help a lot. And then test series is also included because mocks are make or break. That's why even today, when we have done the session, at the end we are solving questions because questions help us in memorizing facts, And also you can use my code SHS Live, which you can see in the bottom section also, to get maximum discount. So any queries, Kartika, Shriparna, Shaida and other people? Else I'll be gone. And I will see you people tomorrow at 10 a.m. No queries, nothing? Shall I go now then? So I will see you people tomorrow at 10 a.m. sharp, and let's keep it as interactive as possible. Take care, be blessed, tata, bye bye.